Earlier today, I made a video talking about Trump's approval rating. The core idea of the video was to show you these disparate views of the world. Mine said my video says Trump has an all-time high record for approval. But I showed David Pakman's video where he said Trump's disapproval is at a record high. Both of us used legitimate polls, and both of us highlighted them. However, the point of my video was kind of a retro, looking back at David Pakman's content and then explaining why I think I'm right. I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm looking at a big picture, and as a moderate, not a progressive, I think it's possible Trump is doing well. Well, in the course of producing this, I noticed that David Pakman had a video. He said that he was, New York Times proves that he's a progressive. So I was watching the video, and he went to this story, opinion, from the New York Times quiz. Let us predict whether you're a Democrat or Republican. I thought this sounded awesome. Ooh, what will they find of me based on these questions? And what are the questions? Will it say I'm left? Will it say I'm right? I don't know. I view myself as center left. Well, here's the problem. I can't actually take the quiz. There's no quiz for me to take. Based on the questions they ask and based how they break down the political tribes, I literally can't take the test. And this explains a few things about me. For one, why I'm politically centrist. For two, why I mention that I'm mixed race when I do. And three, why I detest the regressive identitarian left. This story proves it, because the first question I can't even answer. The first question asks about race, and there is no "are you mixed race" option. There is only you are either white or you aren't, period. Let's take a look. And then I actually want to, from this, I want to talk about why I absolutely detest the left-wing identitarianism, why I'm so angry with the Democrats, and why there is a tacit alliance between centrists and Republicans right now. Now, for one, centrists and Republicans do work together. Centrists work with everybody. But right now, the center and the right are in opposition to the left because the left is embracing a racist ideology that excludes me. I don't like the alt-right, and they don't like me either. They know I'm not white, but the left says I am, and the left is embracing the ideology that conservatives are rejecting. So tell me what I'm supposed to do and who I'm supposed to vote for. I am completely left, politically homeless. Let's read. They say, tell us a few details about you and we'll guess which political party you belong to. It shouldn't be that simple, right? We're all complex people with a multiplicity of identities and values. But the reality is that in America today, how you answer a handful of questions is very likely to determine how you vote. This quiz, based on recent surveys with more than 140,000 responses, presents a series of yes or no questions to predict whether someone is more likely to identify as a Democrat or a Republican. It captures divisions that should make you worried about the future of American democracy. Now, they talk about how race is the biggest divider, and that is scary. I completely agree. Well, here's the first question. Are you Black, Hispanic, or Asian? I am. I'm a quarter Korean. Yes. Are you Black? I am not. Are you Protestant? Certainly not. Have you or a family member served in the military? Actually, my dad, my brother, my grandfather. Yes. Are you married? I am not. You are plus 48 Democratic. Here's the problem. When they ask whether or not you're Asian, they don't take into consideration the fact that I'm part white, that I am mixed. And so this is why I bring it up. It's a point about the lies of the left where they claim to oppose racism, but all they really care about is whether or not you're not white. They don't care about the experiences I've had. Here's the problem with this. Let's restart. Are you Black, Hispanic, or Asian? Well, when they ask this question, is the assumption that I'm 100% Asian? Because if that's the case, the answer is no. But that's not true either. I do not have a traditional white American experience or identity and never have. So I can't say yes or no to this question. In reality, I can only really say yes because I am Asian and I'm not Black. But therein lies the big problem. Neither of those gives me a choice to actually explain my experiences, to actually break it down. Now they go into this. They say, the first question is the most important. It's about race. Asking whether someone is Black, Hispanic, or Asian cleaves the electorate into two groups. What about mixed? Where do the mixed race Americans go? And I know it's a funny meme because I mention it fairly often, not that often, but it does come up, once a month at least. Where's my choice? So let's break this down and go back and let me get all social justice-y on you. I completely understand the idea of representation. I completely understand the idea that for someone who is not white, to only ever see billboards with white people gives you a sense of the world that you are not involved in that world. I have never really identified as necessarily white because my mom is Korean, she made Korean food, and we had a mixed culture, mostly American culture. American culture is fairly mixed anyway, eat burritos and we're not, Mexican. But my mom would cook Korean food and she would say Korean words, and that gave me a much more unique experience relative to your average, WASP family, your white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So the way we vote has always leaned Democratic. Perhaps you might argue that's the perfect reason why you are Democrat, because you are Asian, right? Here's the thing. This is my experience in life. When it comes to these questions, when it comes to these debates, I stop right here. And this should give you an example of my politics today. I know a bunch of conservatives. Their response to my points on this is, for all we care, you're Tim. And I greatly respect that. The Democrats used to feel the same way. My friends on the left used to say, you're just Tim. And I said, thank you, because it's all I've ever been. I don't know what I am beyond who I am as a person and my character. Today, conservatives, for the most part, have retained that value. They've denounced the alt-right, they've denounced Steve King multiple times, but the left is embracing a worldview that puts me at an impasse. The New York Times publishes a story, and this is my experience. I'm stopped dead in my tracks saying, I can't answer this. It's not a yes or no question. I am both Asian and white at the same time, meaning I'm not Asian, and my experience falls in between. So here's what we get. We get someone like me saying, I understand this is how you break up voters, but you are not giving me a chance to experience whatever this is. And I understand there are a lot of people who are not white who feel that way about a lot of things in this world. And that's why I have always been on the left and in favor of social justice. And I've always been someone who recognized you don't solve these problems by bashing people over the head or being a racist. So here's the problem. Do I want equality for everybody? 100%. Do I think women should be CEOs? Absolutely. I believe everyone should have equal opportunity and a chance to choose and live the life they want. Are there systems in place that inadvertently exclude people? 100% you are staring at it for me. I don't know how to engage with the New York Times article. Do I think yelling at white people and bashing them over the head and screaming about privilege is going to get me what I want? Of course not. Why would I do that? Well, I will stress, they certainly get their way a lot of the times, but no, that's not a future I want. I'm not mad that I don't really know how to engage with this piece of content, though I do experience things like this all the time. I'm not salty about it. I am me. This is the world I live in. I have a responsibility to myself, to my friends, to my families, and to the greater world. I try to balance that responsibility to make sure life is improved for everybody, recognizing, hey man, at least I wasn't born missing legs. No, I was just born in between races, and that's fine. So I look for people who say, we don't care about who or what you are, Tim. And guess what? The left is increasingly leaving that behind. The first time I experienced this was during Occupy Wall Street, when the leftists at Occupy told me I was white. Well, that's not an experience I've ever had, because white people tend to think I'm Hispanic or Puerto Rican, and my family was actually attacked. Well, I shouldn't say attacked, but our home was vandalized by white supremacists when I was a kid. So certainly I don't have an experience of a white identity. No, we were always in a controversial position, I suppose. But the Democrats were the ones who were saying, don't worry, man, we're cool. Now they're increasingly embracing an ideology that, Tim, you're passing, therefore you don't get it. So my experience is thrown in the trash by the mainstream left, and they're encroaching, and they're becoming more powerful, and it freaks me out. Because during Occupy Wall Street, they told me I couldn't speak because I looked too white. They said, you look too much like that person, therefore your experiences are invalid. You know who else told me that? White supremacists. So it's no wonder why my politics are where they are, because this is what I get. Now, what do you think is going to happen when I say to the left, when I go to the left and say, hey, this is not cool. Like, how am I supposed to engage with this? I don't get to play the same game as you. They say something to the effect of, you're passing, so what? That's what I get. During Occupy Wall Street, I was told I wasn't allowed to join any groups, the minority groups, because I looked too white. And the white people thought I wasn't white. So there it was. Depending on the race, because here's the thing, listen. Typically, a white person who grows up in a white suburb, always exposed to white people, sees my face and my beard and everything, and it's not the same as the people they grew up with. To them, I look different, and they note, for the most part, that I am not white. These other people who are not white tend to grow up in urban areas where they're surrounded by a bunch of people, and to them, I am white. It was funny because someone recently told me that that I was lucky I could play either side, and I said, you don't get it. I can't play either side. I'm for the most part safe with moderates and conservatives, but if there was ever truly a racial conflict, I'm on neither side. I'm too white and not white at all at the exact same time. This is the problem with identitarianism. It's the problem with the alt-right and the left. And I will make my final point because, I don't know if you actually care to hear me talk about this stuff, but this was the perfect example of me. I laugh about it. I'm like, I get it, man. I get I'm not a part of your world, And I'm talking about the regressive left and identitarians. That's okay. I don't care. I'm going to go grow my own food. I'm going to take care of myself. And guess what? I've succeeded in this country, this great country with freedom called America. And now we're in an interesting position. I disagree with most conservative positions. I shouldn't say most, but a lot, right? Pro-choice, progressive tax, universal health care. Hey, you'd think I was a Bernie supporter, wouldn't you? But here's what happens. I talk to people on the left, and what do they say? They say offensive things about white people. Well, I don't accept that. My dad's white. I will not sit here and tolerate offensive speech about my family and a part of me. You're a racist. I've had conversations with the alt-right, and while the conversations I've had with the alt-right have been calm, I don't want to imply that they've been violent in any way, they've been very dismissive and negative towards race mixing and who I am. And I've been told disparaging things in a calm way, though I don't take, it's fine, you can insult me, I'm not going to get angry. The private conversations that have been leaked about me from the alt-right have been extremely negative and have been extremely racist. But it's fine. You're allowed to be a racist. I don't care. I'm not going to associate with you. I can take care of myself. I have found my own way. That's why I love this country. And after we deal with the extreme factions, I end up with either liberals who just don't care and aren't political, and that's fine. They're most of my friends, and that's cool. They're the cool ones. And politically active conservatives who tell me, you're just Tim. I don't care about your race. And I say, thank you. So here I am, someone who disagrees for the most part with conservatives, with Trump, don't like Trump's character, and the Trump supporters are the ones who are telling me that they don't care that I'm mixed and they didn't make any assumptions about me. Why is that the case? And then it's the Trump's base that are called the racists. The left says, they say, Tim, it's because you're passing. Oh, please, dude. Please. I've been to the rallies. I've been called Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Latino. I have been asked if at a Trump rally, how do I feel as a Latino? How do I feel about the president? And I'm like, I'm not Latino. I had somebody come up to me at a Trump rally and start speaking Spanish to me. It was I think it was Telemundo. It was actually funny. A Telemundo guy came up to me and started going, he said something like, hello, my friend, I want to ask you some questions. And he assumed I was Hispanic. Hispanic guy assumed I was Hispanic. He thought I was a Latino. I'm not. So the funny thing is, the assumptions made about me are not coming from, I'm sorry, conservatives and Trump supporters make assumptions about my race, but they don't judge me, blame me, or make or criticize me because of it. They don't assume, they might assume what my race is, but they don't assume anything about my character. They don't assume anything about my job or how much money I have or whether I'm a good or bad person. Not all of them, but overwhelmingly. There are good liberals, and I think most of them are. The problem is they've bowed out of the fight. There are a lot of moderates who are active in watching, but they're being silent and they're not paying attention. And I know it because I talk to them. All of my friends are like center leftists, love Bernie Sanders, hate racism, and they agree with me on these points. But the conversation is drowned out by the regressive identitarians who tell me I'm passing, you're white people are bad. Okay, great. Well, congratulations, you've lost me. That heavily influences my politics. So maybe this is a good breakdown of it. I sit here looking at this question thinking, well, I am Asian, but I mean, that's not necessarily fair because they're putting me in the same group as people who are literally 100% Asian. That can't be right, can it? Well, here we go. Tim Pool is mixed race. I made a whole video about it. I hope you're happy, guys. I hope it was fun for you. But I just thought this would be a good explanation of why I'm really concerned about the changes happening to the Democrats and why I'm politically homeless and why I'm not conservative, but I will never bend the knee to your psychotic racist religion, to the regressive left. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m., podcast at 6:30 p.m. I'll see you then.